Hi, good evening, everyone, or I should say welcome everyone, because I have today my career counselors, my students, my principals joining me from around the world. So depending on the location that you are in, I wish you a very warm welcome, and I hope you are having a good day wherever you are. I hope these are some trying times. I hope all of you are doing well and are staying safe at your home, whichever country you may be in. So thank you so much for registering for this webinar and joining me today for what I promise will be a very interesting insight into what is happening in Indian higher education sector for last many years. And I think that those are welcome developments that are happening for my country. And the kind of developments that are happening here should be of interest to career counselors and students from around the world and even in India. And I will try to cover those aspects of the Indian higher education sector. The webinar title, as you know, is JGU, Leading the Wave of New Age Universities in India. Well, I work with OP Jindal Global University. We are located in Sonipat, which is in metropolitan area of Delhi, the capital of India. We are a leading institution. I work as the head of outreach and international admissions at this fabulous institution. I have over 12 years of experience now working in higher education sector in India. I have worked with great organizations both in India and in Middle East. I have traveled to around 35 plus countries and given about 300 plus presentations on Indian higher education sector. So let's begin. I will be switching off my camera due to my bandwidth issues, but you will see a presentation. I have prepared a presentation for our webinar today so that you can go back to this presentation even after the webinar, and I will be sharing it with all my participants. So I'll just switch off my camera. I hope you like it. The time management, yes, a very important room announcement. We will be only taking, I will be only taking questions at the end. So we have 60 minutes, about 40 minutes I will be speaking, doing this presentation. At the last 20 minutes, I'll be taking questions from my listeners. The last 20 minutes, you can just type in your question in the questions box. I can see whatever question you type at any point of this webinar. You feel that you have to ask any question, just type it in and I will make sure that I answer it at the last. Thank you so much, and let me switch off the camera and let us begin. Okay, so higher education sector in India, as my friends from India will know, India's higher education system is the third largest in the world. Imagine, we are next to United States and China. So that big is the spread of our higher education system. To give you an understanding, we have about 800 universities, and these universities are central universities or state universities, or which I may say public universities, private universities, deemed universities. So there is plethora of institutions in India. You would have known some of our top institutions like IITs and IIMs. So just to give you a flavor of our competition to get into, I'll not say all 800 institutions are top institutions, but at least 100 to 150 institutions across my country are top notch. So if you take, I've just given one example here. The acceptance ratio at IIM Ahmedabad, which is the top PGDM or MBA college, is 1:150. While for MIT, it is 1:10. 1:150, guys. That is the acceptance ratio. And that ratio can be said for our IITs, which are our top engineering institutions. Those who follow Indian higher education system would know that our Delhi University, which is one of the leading social sciences university in India, our cutoffs are 98%, 98.6%, 0.6%. even decimals make you either through the university gates or outside the university gates. So imagine the plight of a student who gets 98.5 and he is not able to make it, while somebody from a 98.6 is able to get into that university. Uh, why this crazy competition? I think one of the factors definitely is the quality of education that is given at these institutions. But majorly, I think one of the major reasons for this cutthroat competition is that we have very few. We had in the past, I'll say, very few good public institutions, and there was a huge demand for higher education, and it has been growing ever since our independence. The demand for higher education, and I just put in this slide for people to understand the kind of alumni that Indian higher education has given to the world. Uh, Almost 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies have Indian CEOs, and this has been going around for last many years. And now in your screen you can see Mr. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, Indra Nooyi, who used to be a CEO of PepsiCo and now has left Pepsi, but she was at PepsiCo for a very long time. Then you have Mr. Ajay Banga, the CEO of Mastercard. Now these are the guys who have studied in Indian institutions, although for their post graduations they would have gone to study abroad, but their undergraduate degree, and the next slide is very important. If you see, this is a slide that I have created for you. Their undergraduate degree. So like Mr. Sundar Pichai studied at IIT Kharagpur, Satya Nadella studied at Manipal. So imagine the kind of competition that I don't know what happened with Satya and why he was not able to make it to IIT. I'm sure there will be a story there. But even Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, didn't get into an IIT. He studied in Manipal. Imagine the kind of competition that is there to get into those institutions. Ms. Indra Nooyi studied at Madras Christian College, which is a very good social sciences university based in Madras, in south of India. And Mr. Ajay Banga studied at Delhi University, one of the top social sciences institution in India. So I gave you this slide to give you a picture of the kind of people that Indian higher education institutions has been churning out, and there is a plethora of who's of global icons who have come out of Indian higher education institutions, private and public. So how do we make sense of new age institutions in India? How do you define what is a new age institution in India? Well, it's a very loose term, which I coined myself, since I have been watching closely the evolution of some very good universities in India in the private sector. So when I say new age institutions in India, I'll say institutions that have been set up as a philanthropic effort of private, I'll say, philanthropist. There can be one or there can be more than one, but these are people who over the space of last 10 to 12 years have set up institutions, which I'll be talking about in my next slides, which have the capacity to compete with universities that are 300 or 400 years old. These 10 years old universities are doing that, and they are changing the landscape of international education and higher education in India. So why did these people start investing in higher education universities in India? That's the story. Why would somebody devote, a very successful person, devote his or her time and money and resources in setting up a university, which for a matter of fact takes some amount of time to be successful, until unless you have 5-6 batches of very successful alumni coming out of your university cannot be said that you are doing a fantastic job. So it takes time for a university to be set up. So why are people doing that? I think one of the first tipping point was India was one of the first country to do that, where Government of India mandated corporate social responsibility. It's a law now in India, passed by Government of India, Parliament of India, in April 1, 2014. It said that Indian Companies Act it is mandatory for companies of a certain turnover. I mean, there would be a figure there, and profitability, to spend 2% of their net profit on CSR activities. Now, when this law came into uh, adherence in the country, and even before that, it takes quite some time for our laws to be made, because we are a democratic country. There is a process, there is a lot of debate that happens, so it took some time. I don't know exactly how much time did the parliament to get this law into statutory books. But when this law was being brought into the country, there was a huge debate around, since we are a growing economy, we have a lot of money coming into the country, a lot of investment happening, and there was this big debate about inequality and how business owners or business houses should also take responsibility in building the country. And that's why the CSR law came into the picture, and people started looking at, and education was one of those CSR modules. So you could, if you wanted to invest in education sector, it was taken as an investment through your CSR, or Corporate Social Responsibility Act. So people started looking at education as one of the sectors where they could invest in, and that's why a lot of private enterprises started building new age institutions. And I think another important development that you should be aware of is the Institution of Eminence scheme by Government of India. Now, this is a recent happening. In August of 2019, Government of India came out with a list of institutions, 20 institutions, 10 public and 10 private institutions, who will be recognized as Institution of Eminence. Now, Institution of Eminence means, and remember, there are about 800 plus universities, and only 20 got that Institution of Eminence tag. Why were these 20 institutions given this tag, and how was the selection process? Well, the selection process was pretty competitive, because everybody wanted an Institution of Eminence tag, because it meant you could stand out in those 800 universities. But Government of India decided that institutions who have a legacy of high quality teaching, of high quality research, of global partnerships, and also who are already working towards global rankings, will be the institutions that they would like to recognize an Institution of Eminence. So public institutions, and through this scheme, public institutions will be given up to $12 billion, 12 billion rupees, sorry, my bad. Sorry, it's $160 million to develop those kind of linkages, those kind of rankings, those kinds of research, and frankly, attracting international students. So having international students on campus is one of the criteria to break into global rankings. So Government of India also wanted to attract international students. So that is why Institution of Eminence scheme was launched. Although there is no funding given to private institutions, the funding is only given to government institutions. So these are the 10 public or government-owned institutions that were given this tag of Institution of Eminence. You have some very well established. I think all 10 of them are top-notch universities in India. I think these are places where all these are dream institutions for people from around the world. Banaras Hindu University, which is located in Varanasi, in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Then we have Indian Institute of Science located in Bangalore. Then we have Indian Institute of Technology Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Kharagpur in the state of West Bengal. Some of you are not aware, it's very close to Calcutta. IIT Madras in Chennai, University of Delhi, University of Hyderabad, Anna University in Chennai, and Jadavpur University in Kolkata. All top-notch universities from India were given this tag. Now, coming to the next 10 institutions, those are 10 public institutions and 10 private institutions that Government of India thinks are representative of India as a country and should and will aim to have global rankings and global tie-ups and global partnerships and international students, and provide all kind of resources that top-notch institutions anywhere around the world can. So the private institutions that are now shortlisted by Government of India are Amrita Vishwapeetham, with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore. This is in south of India. It's a city near Chennai. BITS Pilani, a very top-notch engineering institution. Jamia Hamdard University in Delhi. KIIT, Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, a very successful university in Bhubaneswar. Manipal Academy of Higher Education, where Mr. Satya Nadella studied, as I mentioned, in Manipal, that's near Bangalore, in Karnataka. Vellore Institute of Technology in again south of India, near Chennai. Satya Bharti University, sponsored by Bharti Foundation, and Geo Institute, sponsored by Reliance Foundation. Now, these two institutions are very unique because these are greenfield institutions. They were not they were not operational, and they are not as of now operational. I think they will be operational in coming 2 years. But the Government of India had come out with this legal undertaking where said if there are corporate houses who want to set up good universities in India, and they believe they will have the standards as are expected from an institution of eminence, and they have the capability to represent India at global forums, they will be happy to give them. They are tagged until under the greenfield nomenclature. So these are greenfield universities who have been given the tag of institution of eminence, and the last two are Shiv Nadar University in Noida, which is again in Delhi NCR, and my favorite and my university, which is OP Jindal Global University, Sonipat, Haryana, which is again, as I mentioned, Delhi NCR. So these are the 20 institutions that I thought I would start by, and I will give you a perspective on why these 20 institutions were given the tag of institution of eminence. What makes an institute of eminence, right? For those of you who are hearing this word for the first time, and it's a very Indian oriented term, Institute of Eminence. Eminence means something which has global respect, global appeal, and the shine of which is not unmatched by any other institution. So let me give you a perspective of how we at OP Jindal Global University became an institution of eminence. And to begin my story, I'll have to give you a background on OP Jindal Global University. We are a very young university. We started in the year 2009 when a young man, all of 34 years, he was a Rhodes Scholar, studied at Delhi University, Hong Kong University, and Oxford. He came back to India. He could have had the world. He could have gone to any other developing country and have had a very good life. But he had a vision. He had a dream to give back to his country, and he wanted to set up a global institution right here in India. His name was Professor C. Rajkumar, who is our founding vice chancellor of my university. And he met at that point of time when he came back to the to country in India. He met our benefactor, Mr. Naveen Jindal, the chairperson of Jindal Steel and Power Limited, which is one of India's leading corporate houses with interest in diverse field from steel and power and mining, and has offices around the globe. So when these two personalities met, and Professor Raj talked about, shared his plan for setting up a global institution in India, and mind you, he wanted to set up a social sciences university and not an engineering university, because again, India is known as a land of engineers and doctors, and he could have easily set up another engineering university and would have set up, we would have got people signing up from day one, because Come on, this is like one of the biggest corporate houses in India, and if they are doing something, people are going to line up. But he said, I want double the challenge. I want to set up a university which will be in social sciences, and will have nothing to do with sciences. We will only do social sciences, and this university will compete with institutions, with Ivy League universities in the US and UK and West, and our students who come to our university, or who come to JGU, they'll have the best of resources. So we started. Imagine the journey of this young man. He was the youngest, and he till date he's the youngest vice chancellor. At the age of 34, he was shouldering the responsibility of setting up this institution from ground zero. So we started with about 100 students in our law school, and about 10 faculty in the year 2009. And in the 10 years ever since then, we have blossomed into a university with 4,000 plus students. We are a fully residential university, 9 schools, undergraduate programs, postgraduate programs, PhD programs, research centers. I think we have become, in the short span of 10 years, we have done the journey of over 50 years. And this is all due to the tireless efforts of our vice chancellor and the faculty and the students. Every member who comes to JGU becomes part of the family in this university. So, so in 10 years, as I said, we became an institution of eminence. We broke into global rankings. QS World Rankings ranks us amongst the top 3% of universities in the world. Imagine a 10-year-old university competing with universities that have deep pockets and years and years of research with them. But we had a dream, and as the people say, we had a dream, and we followed it. Our law school, I think one of the oldest schools in the university. Our law school was ranked #1 in South Asia. We are also ranked #1 in India, ahead of many well-established law schools, again by QS. So as you see, right from our initial stages, our aim has been to set up a global institution of global benchmarking. And how are we able to do that? I think, and what should students, again, I had mentioned this in my mail to people who wanted to register for this webinar. Why should somebody look at JGU? How should a student evaluate a university if you are looking for a university? If the university is unknown, everybody knows some great institutions, Ivy League universities, but how do you know a university? Maybe if you are coming across it the first time, maybe you don't know much about that country, and you want to evaluate some universities in that country. How would you do that? I think one of the first things that you can evaluate a university by, and there are 7 things here, is its faculty. Faculty is the soul of an institution, the soul of a university. People who will teach you in your course for the next 3 years or 4 years or 5 years are the university to you. They are the souls. They are the people who will make sure that you get top quality education. So faculty is very important. So I will be touching upon all these 7 areas in my later slides. I have a slide for each one of these sectors that I want to talk about. But just to finish talking about the courses that we offer, the OPC Global University, as I said, we are a leading social sciences, liberal arts, and a research-based multidisciplinary university. We offer courses across law. We offer courses in BLLB, BBLLB. We offer business programs, BBA, integrated BBA plus MBA. We offer a BA Legal Studies. We offer a BA Global Affairs. Our fantastic and highly competitive BA Liberal Arts program. Our globally ranked university has courses in BA Economics, which is the School of Government and Public Policy, which is the India's first public policy school, which is led by our Rhodes Scholar, Professor R. Sudarshan. Again, fantastic program. We have BCom, we have BA Journalism, we have BArch, we have Built Environment, Political Science, Global Affairs, and also I think there are two more programs that we are launching this year, along with the programs mentioned here. We have BA in Social Science and Policy and a BA in Environment and Sustainability. Environment and sustainability is much required in times of today. Will you not agree with me? So these are the programs offered in my university. So as I was mentioning, faculty is very important for any institution to be set up and to be benchmarked globally. Our faculty ratio is 1:10, which is one of the best amongst. It says ranked second in India for faculty student ratio, but I think we have done even better in last few months, and we have now reached a faculty student ratio of 1:9, if not less. And again, we are always trying to lower that gap and have as many faculty available for smallest number of students. All our faculty has international degree or international experience. They come from various backgrounds. Most of them are from global top 200 institutions, and who are teaching in our campus full time 24/7 and are available. And since we are a residential campus, and I should mention it here, the access to these intellectual powerhouse is immense. Imagine we are a 24/7 campus where faculty, staff, I stay on campus, faculty, staff, students are all staying under one roof, and the kind of things that we do are amazing. The kind of things that our students are able to pull off I'm sure, and I can stick my neck out and say that are not done by many other universities in India. We are all experienced people. We come from industry. We are from law, business administration, international relations. So different fields require different. Again, something about our faculty. We have 400 plus faculty, 71 international faculty. Faculty with international degree is 318. 318 out of 432 faculty have international degree. So imagine the kind of experience that these people bring to a university in Delhi. So 180 plus faculty has degrees from 200 universities. So faculty is one of our core strength, and I recommend my counselors and my teachers and my students who are interested to go to our website jgu.edu.in and see for yourself firsthand the kind of faculty that we have at our university. Internationalization. Our middle name is Global, and we live by that name. We have over 250 plus collaborations with universities in 52 countries. I think Jindal is the #1 university for student mobility, international student mobility across the globe. You want to go to Harvard, you want to go to Oxford, you want to go to Wharton, you want to go to Cornell, UC Berkeley, King's College London, Sciences, you name it. Those universities have a tie-up with us, which do not have with any other university in India. I can bet you nobody has the kind of collaborations that we have. We send over 150 students every semester up to for student exchange programs, summer exchange programs, semester exchange programs, double degree programs. Internationalization. I think we are truly international university, which not only has people from around the world who stay on the university, who teach, who work in the university, but also our students who come from across the globe and travel across the globe for international exposure and experiences which are very unique. So as I said, we send students to 100 universities on summer school, semester exchange, dual degree programs. 150 students sent on semester exchange every semester. We have dual degree programs with KCL, Cornell, Geneva School of Diplomacy, Southwestern University. Again, 31 degree programs, dual degree programs. So you can study, you get a dual degree, you get a degree from India, and you also get a degree from that respective university. Imagine. Interdisciplinarity. This was a part that my distinguished vice chancellor wanted to change in India. Indians are known very well for engineering and medicine, and whether for good or for bad, from a very young age, we are taught to specialize. So if you ever talk to an Indian student, He'll say, what are the subjects in grade 11? And he'll say science, medical, non-medical, commerce, arts. So a student who is studying medical in those 2 years in high school studies only medical subjects. So he will study subjects like physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and English. A non-medical student, again an Indian term, non-medical student will study for engineering. So he will study subjects like physics, chemistry, maths, and English, and probably one computers or something like that. So they are never exposed, and we are never exposed to interdisciplinary study. Even our IITs or medical institutions or management institutions till very recently didn't encourage interdisciplinarity, and that is where Professor Rajkumar had this vision of setting up an interdisciplinary institution. He said, why should my student who wants to study architecture in Jindal cannot take a course in urban planning? A student studying global affairs can take an international economics law from law school. Let's open the doors of education to students irrespective of their backgrounds. So we have over 200 elective subjects offered each semester, including 100 cross-listed electives. 100 cross-listed electives. This may look normal to my counselors who are working with Western institutions, but to an Indian institution to have this kind of diversity and choices available to student is just amazing. And I think Jindal again is the only university in India who can offer these kind of cross-listed electives to our students. Again, another important factor in how students should judge university by is infrastructure and facilities. I think, as I mentioned, we are a fully residential campus located in Sonipat, which is part of Delhi metropolitan area. We call it Delhi NCR, National Capital Region. So, National Capital Region, our university campus is about 90 minutes drive from Delhi International Airport, which is right about in center of Delhi. So we have the luxury of being very close to Delhi, but also not being in Delhi. So we are in a quiet place. I'll say in the lap of nature, a very beautiful campus. You will fall in love with the campus the moment you take your first step inside it. We have all the state-of-the-art facilities that you can imagine from a global campus, right from food court to Olympic-sized swimming pool to classrooms to halls to auditoriums to playgrounds, gymnasiums. Top-notch institution, top-notch campus. I think number one and number one in India with regards to that. So we are a as I mentioned, we are a residential campus, so our student life has to be dynamic, has to be vibrant, and it is vibrant. I think student life for a JGU student is amazing. I talk to a lot of students. I tell them, what is one thing that you uh, like about the campus life? And they say it's so electric. And I tell them when they go home for their breaks or they go for internship programs, uh, do you love going home? And they'll tell me, sir, I love being on campus. Being home becomes boring after 2 days. So we look forward to coming back to campus and our campus life again soon. So those are the kind of things that make me proud of the kind of student body that we have, on kind of culture that we have created on that campus. A very open, loving place where each student is part of a community, and we feel at home being on JGU campus. So these days, when we are stuck with COVID and we are all stuck at our homes, we do get into Zoom calls to reminisce about our days on campus, and we are hoping that we'll get back to campus very soon. So student life, as I mentioned, is amazing. I think one of the last things that you should be talking to your university or your intended university, you should be checking the university on this criteria. Very important. What are the alumni doing? What are the people who studied in that university doing these days? I think for Jindal, we are a young university. We have got quite a substantial number of alumni who are working in amazing places and big brand names like, people have those dream companies, Google, LinkedIn, Amazon, American Express, Fortune 500 companies, Indian multinationals, uh, places such as United Nations, World Bank. We have it all. We have it. But we also have a substantial number of students who went abroad for higher education and who are making us proud by pursuing their masters and PhD and research focused programs at places such as Oxford, NYU, Columbia, Cambridge, Harvard. So those are the kind of people that you will get to network with, that you will love, you would share your university with. And these relations or this network will work with you throughout your life. And you will always be a proud JGU alum. So alumni outcomes at JGU are fantastic and at par with some of the best universities in the. As I mentioned, our students have been part of leading institutions, Ivy League universities, as you call this. For your reference, you can have a look at the spread of the institutions that the students have gone to. Uh, okay, now coming to our, which is another important part of a university, the admission process, and that is what was also important while we were sending in our application for Institution of Eminence, is what kind of admission process do we follow at Jindal? Now, at Jindal, our entire process is online on our website, www.jgu.edu.in. And it was online, way online, even before this crisis, the COVID epidemic struck us. So we didn't have that much of adjustment to make. There were a couple of adjustments that we had to make, and I will talk about those in my next slides. But all our process is online. Any student sitting in any country around the globe can apply to us very easily by going online on this URL www.jgu.edu.in. There are no couriers to be sent. There is nothing to be couriered. You just have to go online and start your application. We to give you an idea, we are a competitive university since we are an institution now of a global repute. We get applications from around the globe. Last year, we had over about 10,000 plus applications for about 1,200 odd undergraduate seats that we have. Uh, so I'll be very frank in admitting that we also are a very selective university. The competition to get in is tough, but what is true for our university, apart from the law program and the PR program, where we are bounded by the Government of India regulations, for all other schools, we have what we call as a holistic admission process, wherein we do not want to judge you by on the basis of 1 mark. We will not be judging you based on your grade 12 marks or your SAT scores or any other JSAT score or ACT score. What we have is a complete personality review. So we do it in 3 ways. First of all, when you go online, there is academic criteria. Definitely, we are an academic institution and a very focused academic institutions. We need people who are good academically. So we need your grades from grade 10, 11, 12. We need your SAT, ACT, or JSAT. Now, people are maybe aware with SAT and ACT, but maybe you are not aware of what is JSAT. General Scholastic Aptitude Test. JSAT is a test conducted by Pearson, specifically for students applying to Jindal. I'll be talking about JSAT in my next slides, so that you get a flavor of what is JSAT and you can guide your students. We do have non-academic and personal context also, and that is part of our holistic admission review. So we look at your extracurricular achievements, we look at letter of recommendation from teachers, we look at personal context, your personal statement, and there are some program specific questions that we ask. Like for School of Liberal Arts, we have 5 questions that a student needs to tell me. Like School of students coming for our economics program have to talk about their interest in economics and why they want to pursue BA honors in economics. So these kind of questions are there to set the personal context. And finally, we have an interview. Again, you don't have to come in person anywhere. We take interviews via WhatsApp, via Skype. even if even voice calls, if that works in your respective territory. So again, this is the complete process for our admissions, right from academic criteria to non-academic to your personal profile. Now, this is true for my all my programs apart from law and B.Arch programs. So I'll be talking about law and B.Arch after this slide, but first let me complete what is JSAT. General Scholastic Aptitude Test is a 120 minutes online test comprising of 120 multiple choice questions from logical reasoning, maths, English. You can apply and schedule your JSAT online on pearsonview.com/JSAT. There is there is a fee of about rupees 950, which is somewhere around less than about $15, which is very friendly. $15, around $15 through credit card at that website. Now, this was the part that was before COVID struck us. Students had to go to a center and give it at a respective center, and we had centers in India and Middle East. But now, due to COVID, the entire JSAT, we are moving it online. So, and you can give it, a student can give JSAT from the comfort of their homes. So this next slide, JGU Online, Admissions Open 2020, AI-enabled home-proctored entrance exam. So now from 11th May onwards, students can give JSAT from the comfort of their homes. You don't have to go anywhere, be it anywhere around the globe. You want to write that exam, do it. The fee, as I said, is about $15 or 950 rupees, and you can give it easily and schedule that date easily. But please remember, the registrations go live from 11th May, so you can't book your JSAT as of now for the next couple of days, at least 3 to 4 days. But from 11th May onwards, you can visit the JSAT website, Pearson View website, and register and take a exam slot. So JSAT has gone online. And sample papers, and people talk to me, and students talk to me, sir, do we need preparation for JSAT? How tough it is? I say, if you have done basic maths in school, or basic English and basic logical reasoning in school, not of grade 12 level, but grade 9 and 10, then you are okay. You are good at, you're decent guy at reading and writing, and you are good, decent guy in doing maths and quants, then you should be able to do this or clear this exam without a preparation time of 2 months. Probably you take about 15 to 20 days, give the sample papers, get a feel of it, the exam, give some sample papers, sample exams, and then you can easily clear this. So there is a minimum percentage marks. Each school has its own minimum marks. Like my School of Liberal Arts and Humanities, the Liberal Arts program requires 55% in JSAT. My School of Government and Public Policy, the BA Honors in Economics program, requires 55% in JSAT. And similar is the case for my BA Honors Social Science and Policy program. So there will be, and all other schools will have their own cutoffs. But check on the website or the program that you are applying to. Now, for all our the two courses that I didn't talk about, the admission process is our law program and our architecture program. So for law, the eligible exam is LSAT India. Now, there's a difference to you. There is an LSAT US and LSAT India. Students cannot apply to our law program with LSAT US scores. If you want to apply to OP Jindal Global University, in the law program, you have to give LSAT India. And LSAT India, again, there is a website mentioned here. You can go online, register for LSAT. The test was supposed to be held on 17th May, but due to this COVID situation, now it has been shifted to June. I think the new date is around 7th of June, if I'm not wrong. Please double check it on the website. There is a fee of about rupees 3,800. Which is somewhere about $50 is the fee to register for this exam. Now, this exam is, as of now, not online. So students from outside India, I don't think you can take it. It's not available as of now outside of India. But please do check out the LSAT website to keep note of what is happening there. There are 3 sections: analytical reasoning, logical reasoning, and reading comprehension, that students are judged upon, are tested upon. You can again get the sample papers from the LSAT India website. The website link is mentioned here on the slide. So please remember, for all our programs in law, LSAT India is the exam. Now for our B architecture program, B Arch program, we take an exam as per the Government of India stipulation. We have to take the National Aptitude Test in Architecture, which is a test which is conducted by Council of Architecture, which is a statutory body, and works under the direction of Government of India. So all our admissions to B Arch program are done by the NATA exam. Again, this is not available outside of India. Students who are in India can apply for NATA, and that there are 2 parts to this test: a paper-based drawing test for 2 hours and a computer-based online aesthetic sensitivity test. So this is the exam for our B Arch program. So remember, JSAT for all our programs apart from law and B Arch program. Now, another important thing that we have in our institution is interview part. And students have generally asked me, and counselors also ask me, Ankur, what do you judge in an interview? I think interview for us is a opportunity to know the student better, and know him more than just his marks. So we judge a student probably or test his skills in oral communication, written communication, his imagination and creativity, self-reflection, and diversity and range of extracurriculars. If we want to, the mission in OP Jindal Global University is to set up a university where students are become holistic people. We are not in the business of providing just education. We want to we want to be known as a place that gives society change makers, people who are not only good at counting numbers or maybe making arguments, but who are good human beings. And for that, we want to know your personality. We want to know how you learn, how do you deal with others, how good you are in respecting your fellow beings. What is the change that you want to see in society? So those are the kind of things that we want to know from our students. So this is what we want to know when we do an interview with us. So it's not a stress interview. We just want to give you an opportunity to explain yourself more. Maybe you missed it out in your personal statement or your letter of recommendation. So we give you another opportunity to explain your candidature to us. Scholarships are very important to us. As I said, we are universities set up as a not-for-profit university. We want to give back to the society. The mission, one of the missions at our university is we want to promote public service. We do give scholarships, a good amount of scholarships to students on a means come merit basis. Uh, Students who have a family income of less than INR 30 lakhs per annum are eligible to apply for scholarships. Definitely, you will have to support your application with documents such as tax returns, bank statements, asset details. So there is a lot of paperwork that needs to be done. But we do give up to 75% scholarships on tuition fee, and we do have multiple scholarships in the range of 10% to 50%, which is given to a wide variety of students, wide number of students. Generally, the scholarships open in the month of July, and after the grade 12 results are out, and after everybody has given JSAT or SAT or ACT scores, depending on the number of applications, we come out with a merit list on the scholarship front. So this is our beautiful campus. As I said, one of the amazing thing about campus life is the infrastructure that we have. And I just wanted to showcase some of the infrastructure that is available to our students. This is one of our classrooms. This is one of our global reading rooms, my favorite place on campus where I go to read in the evenings. our library. This is a hostel room, very accessible on campus. You don't have to travel anywhere, you can just walk down to your classes. In one of my favorite parts on campus. This is the admin block where classes happen, and this is the indoor garden that we have on campus. Beautiful, lush, green campus. This is again an evening view of our administration block where classes happen. As you can see, it gives you a tremendous amount of motivation just to be part of this institution and just to be part of this amazing place. Okay, so I think I'm done with my presentation about OP Jindal and what goes into making an institution of eminence and how we could have, how we were able to achieve the institution of eminence tag due to the tireless efforts of our vice chancellor and the faculty and all of key authorities, staff members involved in setting up this institution from ground zero. Now, I also want to mention some other notable new age universities in India that I feel, having watched the higher education sector in India, worked very closely with higher education sector in India for last many years. I believe that these universities, although they do not have institution of eminence tag, but these are universities that definitely are doing very good work and at par with global institutions. So I will mention about 7 universities here. Aziz Premji University in Bangalore, which is again a social sciences university, which is doing fantastic job, set up by Wipro, which is one of the leading corporate houses in India. Then there is Ashoka University. Ashoka University is another very good institution located in Sonipat. We are next door neighbors, but Ashoka has been doing a phenomenal job also. And they have been around for about 7-8 years now. Their undergraduate program, I think, started in 2014. They are also a liberal arts university. Kriya University, which is a new university, I think about a year old, a liberal arts institution, which has been set up by Mr. Raghuram Rajan, who was quite a celebrated economist, credited with, uh, credited with uh, announcing to the world the global recession that happened in 2008. He was also the governor of Reserve Bank of India, quite a famous personality in this part of the world. He currently teaches in Chicago University. Flame University, which is in Pune, is another very good institution set up by very well-reputed people there. Bennett University is again a new university. I think they are about 3 to 4 years old, been set up by Bennett Coleman, which is one of India's leading owner of one of India's leading paper, the Times of India. They look to be doing a good work. Ahmedabad University, again set up by Ahmedabad Education Society, the same society that has set up IIM Ahmedabad and many fantastic institutions in the city of Ahmedabad, is doing also fantastic work. This is another liberal arts university, but also does sciences. Now, Plaksha University is a new university that is coming in north of India, in Punjab, a city called Mohali, next to Chandigarh, which looks promising to me. So I mentioned it here. So I think these are the 7 institutions apart from the 20 institution of eminence that I mentioned in my beginning, that I think people should be looking out for and should be destination of choice for people from outside India and even in India. But if you are outside India and you're confused with the plethora of universities that are there, probably you should start with these universities. Okay, thank you so much. That's about it for my presentation. I think I went a little over time. I have about 6 more minutes to go before we close this session, but I love to take some questions here. Okay. So I can see the first question. It says, what is the placement after 5-year BA LLB degree? And this has been asked by Ms. Yana Mehta. I think The placements after BLLB degrees are phenomenal. As I mentioned in my slides, you get to work in the best of law firms. You want to practice in Supreme Court or High Court of India, or you want to pursue corporate law as a career. So immense opportunities for you. You want to go abroad for higher education, that is available also. I'll request you guys go on our website, the law school website, to check on detailed placements that are available there. Is the next question that I can see is JSAT mandatory for applying? Adi Pasrija. Yes, JSAT is mandatory for applying to us. You can, due to COVID, you can start your application, submit your application, go through your application and get your interview, and even get a provisional offer letter of admission from us. You can do all that, but you have to clear JSAT and get a minimum marks before joining the program. So you will get a provisional offer of admission, but it will say that you have to get this minimum score in JSAT by this date. So that is important. JSAT is mandatory. Okay. The next question that I can see. Okay, I am Sibin Francis. I can see that you want to reach out to me for details of the university. Please, if you can see on the slide, there is my mobile number, which is mentioned, and it's WhatsApp enabled. You can use WhatsApp to reach out to me. My email ID, which is ankurvora@jgu.edu.in, is also available for everybody to make note of and reach out to me over those contact details. Another question that we have is from Peter. Peter has to ask me, what is the role of alumni in the university? As I said, each of our alumni is very dear to us. We have quite a substantial, about 2,000 plus alumni now, who are part of institution building of APJ. They come on campus to conduct mock interviews for our upcoming batch who wants to get placements in companies. They guide, they go guest lectures. They are also part of interviewing some of our school applicants. So alumni is an integral part of the JGU community, and we look forward to their guidance on anything that we do, any new school that we launch, and any new course that we launch. We try to have a feedback from alumni who have been part of this institution. I can see Emanuela asking me a question. Please, are there full scholarship opportunity for international students? Emanuela, we do not have any restriction for international or Indian students. Scholarships are available, but please remember, scholarships are available to all students, be it international or Indian, but we give scholarships only on our tuition fee. So there is a cost involved in terms of residence. So residence and your hostel fee and your meals and your are not covered under scholarship. So there are no full ride scholarships. There are scholarships, but partial scholarships. Full scholarships are available, but only on tuition fee. I have another question from Nanda Ramaswamy. For admissions to BA LLB, LSAT needs to be given in May 2021. Can LSAT be attempted more than once? LSAT is done conducted only once a year. So if you do not clear LSAT in that one attempt, the only way you can give LSAT again is to drop 1 year and come back again. So yes, you can give it twice. You can give it more than once, but you can only give it once in a year. So that, I hope that answers your question. So better be good at your first attempt. Yes, if you want to take admission in 2021, then your LSAT will happen in May 2021. Harshal has a question for me. Will the session of upcoming semester be classroom or online? Any concrete announcements related to COVID-19? Harshal, as per UGC guidelines, you would have watched the news. As per the University Grant Commission's Government of India guidelines, we have been instructed to open our campus on 1st of August for all the current students, and for September 1 for all the freshmen coming into the university. So we are following the guidelines as stipulated by the authorities. and we'll stick to whatever the government of India tells us. But to tell you very frankly, we are, as it is, we are following a blended mode of learning, wherein we are, as of now, we can't conduct in-person classes, or all our classes are being conducted online, and it has been quite successful. Although it cannot replace the in-person on-campus classes, but we are trying to make to adjust to this unprecedented situation as best we can. I hope it answers your question. Dhanur Agarwal has asked me a question: how many times can we take the JSAT? My dear Dhanur, you can take JSAT multiple times. There is, as of now, I think each school has its own policy, but from what I know, my School of Liberal Arts and Humanities and my School of Economics and Social Science and Policy, we allow students to take JSAT at least 3 times. So I hope that answers your question. You can give JSAT multiple times. And that's about time for me. Thank you so much for all of you, the lovely people who joined me today. I hope I was able to give you an overview of the Indian higher education sector. And as I said, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact details are there. And stay safe, my friends. Stay safe, and I'm sure we'll get out of this stronger. And very soon we'll be able to get back to our campuses, and most of my students will be able to join the lovely OP Jindal University starting September 1. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I will be closing this session now.